Remember when watching Star Wars was pure joy? I do. It was last Wednesday. This is the review of Champions, and I'm your host, Grandmaster. With me is a powerful panel made up of the finest champions cigar has to offer. Let me introduce them to you. First up, showing his beautiful face on camera and his cat, Merv. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Great. And there's also the original, Mr. Taylor first. How are you?
I'm good.
We may be joined by Lord Deathman a little bit later. He has some technical issues. We're going to talk about episode 4 and 5 of Skeleton Crew today. But before we do that, I want to ask you all to help us out. Like and share this video and subscribe to our channel. And if you really can't get enough of us, join our ranks at cigar.freeforms.net. Set up an account, and you can do that by just clicking on the link in the description. You get straight to the setup an account page. You can join our forum, talk to us, and yes, you can join our shows on YouTube if you want to. We would love it if you do that. This is your final warning. We're going to discuss the content of both episodes in depth. So if you haven't seen the episodes yet, do that first and then come back to this video. We are going to discuss the last 2 episodes because life got in the way, or I should say Christmas. Basically, the kids, SM33 and the man with many names are looking for Adam to bring the kids home. But that's not so easy a task. Taylor, episode 4 and 5. Did you enjoy those episodes?
Yes, I did.
Oh.
They were both really good. I enjoyed them a lot. Episode 4, I found especially interesting, where they went to Akron, trying to find Adin, and of course the very, very similar planet. So it's telling us that these planets are like little test tubes, little experiments or something, and this one went horribly bad. Now it's just a Mad Max warring factions, desolate planet. And I thought that was really interesting how when they landed, they got separated. The kids ended up with one group, and Jude Law ended up with the other group for a short time, but he was able to think his way out of it very quickly. He made a deal and got his freedom. Brought back the animals that were stolen to link up with the other group and then get the kids back. All very interesting. I thought it was really interesting. The people on the planet that the kids ended up with, their child soldiers, the leader there who was obviously just using those kids for whatever information he could get out of them, and also when the battle time came, to basically using them as cannon fodder and sacrificial lambs to go out there and draw the enemy's fire. But luckily, Jude Law showed up and was able to fix that. And then, of course, they found the location of where the location was and had been destroyed. And then we find out a lot about SM33 and how his memory had been not wiped, but he had been ordered not to remember anything about Adin. And then when that was challenged, he went in berserk. So again, a lot of action, a lot of interesting characters, including the girl that Neil made friends with there, the child soldier girl. Does a lot of parkour. That was very interesting. It was mostly a Neil-centric episode to a large degree, and I liked that. He's such a cool. I mean, they're all cool characters, but Neil, he's cool and he's super cute, and you just laugh every time he does anything. So it was fun. Episode 5, I liked that too. They went to the planet that used to be a pirate hangout, of a pirate hideout of some sort, and now it's a spa of some kind of resort spa. Fun little episode, getting chased around and sneaking around, and a lot of different alien species were shown, which is fun. And then, of course, the other pirates showed up. They found the actual coordinates to Adin, apparently, And then, of course, we have the big double cross by Jude Law, which was kind of a shocker. Maybe a lot of people saw it coming or were waiting for it to happen. I was thinking he wasn't going to double cross him, at least not to that degree. I know he was out for his own benefit, but I thought working with the kids was going to continue. But nope. However, he could have just killed them, and he didn't. So he at least isn't a, homicidal maniac who murders children. But it'd be interesting to see what exactly his end game is and what his future plans are now. But all in all, very just fun. This whole show is just fun. The characters are fun. The acting is good. The very slow, very natural character development that's happening with everybody is excellent. The action scenes are fun. To me, this is like just great Star Wars.
Yeah. I love it, by the way, that you call him Jude Law and not by the character's name, because he has so many, and I can't for the life of remember any of them. But anyway,
I couldn't remember which was the last one, so I just went with the actor's name.
Yeah, that's good. Merv, how did you appreciate or not appreciate these last 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew?
No, I agree. I thought they were pretty much very fun up until the double cross, which I took very personally for some reason. Episode 4, again, is a Neil heavy episode, which I think we needed a little bit. He felt like he was a little bit more of the 4 kids, a little bit more in the background, and I appreciated that they brought him to the forefront for an episode. That episode also, and maybe it's just because I'm also watching Star Trek, but that episode gave me like Star Trek vibes. Like the crew lands on a planet and it's this dystopian society. Oh, there's 2 factions at war. One of the crew falls in love necessarily, but there's some potential romantic entanglements with one of the faction leader's daughters. I'm just like, is this Star Trek? But yeah, I really liked Neil in that episode. And I really liked that episode in general. I thought it was very fun. And then SM33, when he flips out at the end and goes all limb by limb or whatever he was saying, he's actually kind of terrifying whenever he gets angry. So that was pretty cool. Episode 5.
And that red pops out of his eye.
Yeah. Episode 5, again, another fun one. I really liked a lot of SM33's reaction to seeing the Pirate Cove, or whatever it was, now has become this spa in his like frustration and angst towards like everything. This used to be this and that used to be that. You've ruined everything. Like I thought that was hilarious. And then the split and sneaking around, that was all pretty fun. I liked the Cthulhu monster, who turned out to be like the nicest monster in Star Wars. I thought he was really fun. In whenever the other pirates gave chase, the acid scene was a little bit, I'm glad they didn't show anything, but like to hear the cries of terror as that room or whatever they were in filled with acid, that's probably not a great way to go. And then the betrayal happened, and I don't know if it's because it's kids or because we've had like a few moments, like both Wim and Fern had these moments where they were crying and they were missing home, and you really like, it's really easy to like understand where these kids are coming from, as far as like, you want to go on this adventure, but also you really want to go back home. Like, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm in way over my head and I'm scared and I don't know what I'm doing and I'm 11 or whatever, whatever the situation is. But whenever he betrays them, I'm just like, this feels as bad as any betrayal in anything ever. Like, I'm like, you're irredeemable right now. And I know it's not anywhere close to like, for example, Penguin levels of villainy or anything like that. We know he's not a bad guy, but it just feels so bad because he's doing it towards kids. You know what I mean? Like,
he's the adult, they're kids. He's a force wielder. You see Wim picking up the lightsaber, but that goes, of course, horribly wrong, which I actually really liked that it went wrong. It would be worse if he immediately could wield the sword and fight. That would be worse.
I actually kind of saw that a little bit coming. I was like, is he holding that thing the right way? I had the thought as he was picking it up, and they were, because I was like, there's no way he's going to be able to do this. And then I was pleasantly surprised that they did what I thought they were going to do. But yeah, I couldn't really pinpoint it other than like it's just an adult who feels like he has all the strengths over these kids, like double crossing them for seemingly no reason at this point. They want to go exactly where he wants to go, so there's no point really in doing this. But I mean, it's his nature. I mean, every character that we've come across has warned us not to trust him. He's a pirate. He's going to double cross you, and I know that somewhere in there is still like a half decent guy because we've seen him go out of his way to save these kids. But that just makes the double cross hurt that much more, I think. In the look on Fern's face whenever it's happening is just like this helplessness that I completely empathize with, and I'm just like, I don't. I'm sure he's going to redeem himself in the show, but like right now, I just want him. I want SM33 to like tear him limb from limb or something. You know what I mean? Probably a little too much.
Yeah. Will he redeem himself, Taylor? I mean, I think I read it online. I don't know. It was not the board, I think, but I think I read it on Threads or something. That we actually saw the ending of the series already in the very first scene. In the very first episode, that pirate captain is actually Jude Law with a mask on. And then he gets in trouble with his crewmates, mutiny, etc. Or you don't think that?
Well, yeah, I do think that was him. I mean, there's no, if it's not, it's obviously intended to be a bait and switch, and everyone is supposed to think that's him. As of now, there's no reason not to think that was him.
But yeah, there's something else I noticed and I read it as well, and those kids actually they are acting very well, or it simply is very well written. I mean, you can totally tell at certain moments they are together, a group of kids playing, in their own world, be in their own world, while the outside world is happening. I really think it's well written and well acted, this show, and I actually did not expect that going in. What do you think?
It's really, really hard to get that right, okay? And you need the right writers and you need the right director to really make that work when you have kids. Otherwise, they come off not sounding like kids, talking like adults, or talking like what some adult who doesn't know any kids thinks kids sound like. And Spielberg, of course, is really great at working with kids. And whoever's in charge of this show, whoever's in charge of this show seems to be doing a really good job of making that work, so it feels natural. They feel real. Their interactions feel real. Their reactions to things feel real and not overdone. So yeah, I said my hat's off to them. They really made that work, and it's not easy to do.
No, and Merv, what I said in the beginning, Star Wars is supposed to be fun. Just watch it, fun. It doesn't need to be deep. It's good versus evil, with a little bit of a fantasy sauce over it. I think we're getting that in abundance in this show. I think it's really uncomplicated fun. Just watching those kids get home. There's a mystery there, but it's not like world threatening or galaxy threatening, or the stakes are not that super high. I'm really enjoying myself. I did not think before I started watching the show that I would enjoy myself this much. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of charm to the show that they've really managed to encapsulate. And I think a lot of it, just touching on what Taylor was talking about, what you asked him, I do think it's like the little scenes where you get to see them being kids that make it feel genuine. It really lets you like get lost in like, okay, these are kids and they're just on an adventure, they're lost in space and I mean, we think they're going to get home, but who knows, what their future is going to, I doubt they're going to, get destroyed by the Death Star or something anytime soon. But, I agree that like the innocent adventure of it is like the point of the show, like to me at least, not necessarily like all, there's not all these deep layers upon layers or political ties or anything like that. Like that stuff is still some of that stuff, like what these planets are and like, why are they hidden from things and like the history of the, where these kids came from. And even, to a lesser extent, I think like, who Jod Law is or whatever, like what his whole deal is outside of just being a pirate. Maybe that's it, maybe it's that surface level. But those stuff exist, but it's not necessarily the reason I keep watching the show or the reason I'm enjoying the show necessarily. It's like the kid adventure in it, it's just like not happy-go-lucky adventure, but it's just fun. It's easy to get lost in this series and just have a good time doing it without getting too bogged down by any kind of serious themes or anything like that. And I do think it's like the age of these child actors is very important for this too, because it's easy to put yourself in those shoes as the, it's easy to assume that they don't know anything about anything and they're innocent and they have good natured, but also they can stumble across just the worst scenario imaginable, and you're still like pulling for them to get out of it. And I think it's fun. It's a very fun show.
Without them being overpowered or it's ever too easy. Actually, they actually have problems and they need to deal with that. And I like it. Taylor, you got to follow.
Yeah, I like that too. That they're just normal kids. They're not force wielders. They're not Sith. They're not, rebels. They're just, a bunch of kids that got caught up into this crazy situation, and they're the age that Star Wars is written for, actually. And the other part I like about this, just following up on what I said, I don't think this series is going to have any huge implications on the Star Wars universe or the history of the universe. I think it's going to be a relatively self-contained story. Might touch on a couple of things, but I mean, these kids seem to have come from a place that was kind of separated from the whole history of that was going on around them in Star Wars. The fall of the Republic and the rise of the Empire and the rebellion and all that seems to have passed by these kids in that ad, and I don't think this story is going to have any huge effect. And I'm glad. I want to have stories in the Star Wars universe that are just about these people living their lives and having their adventures without, bringing down an empire or anything involved in it.
Yeah. Maybe they will land on a planet with lesbian space witches and learn about the power of many.
Yes, it could be. Or they go to Tatooine. I mean, come on. We got to get to Tatooine.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. Maybe Jabba the Hutt will help them as well. Merv, our Jabba is dead, by the way, at this moment.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, like, we don't need a Skywalker to show up in this story. You know what I mean? We don't. This doesn't need to be an extension on the Skywalker saga, but also Tatooine I mean, there might be an anagram there if you start shifting words around. I'm just saying, the other side of the planet might not be desert.
Exactly. All the sand is on the other side. Yeah.
It could be a suburb. Yeah, I mean they have. they have colorful motorbikes. Oh no, that was the other one. That was another planet. I'm getting all my planets confused now. There's so many.
Tatooine, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Tatooine.
In Boba Fett, yeah.
Yeah, it was Tatooine. Yeah.
The Vespa gang or whatever they were called.
Yeah. Maybe KB turns out to be Rey. You never know.
This is the origin of the biker gang from Boba Fett.
Yeah, everything is possible.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Everything is possible. But I think we all agree these episodes were fun. This show is fun, and it doesn't need to be more than this, right? Nah.
Correct.
Right now, it's right where what it needs to be, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and I hope they keep at it and stick the landing. Then it's a perfectly serviceable, fun Star Wars show, which actually gets not much critique, which is also nice for a change. Maybe it's the holiday spirits, you never know. But maybe now the harsh critique comes when we go for a rating. Of both episodes. You can mix them together, you can do them separately if you have a different number for each. And I'm gonna start with you, Taylor. Let's hear it.
I'll give them both 9 out of 10. So far, this whole season is a 9 out of 10 for me. If they really stick the landing in these next 3 episodes, it could become a 10. It's just going great.
Yeah. Okay. Merv?
I'll give episode 4 an 8 out of 10 because I really liked Neil being the centerpiece of this one, and he's got such a big heart. And I'll give episode 5 a 9 out of 10 because it evoked such emotion from me whenever the betrayal happened that I have to reward them for that, for getting me so invested that I would be literally angry watching this show at a certain character. I think that's a testament to where the show's at.
I'm gonna, Taylor, before I give my numbers, you have.
I'm sorry. I just want to follow up real quick on Merv and his sense of betrayal. I agree 100%. The worst part for me was not only did he beat up a kid, he used the force to beat up a kid. Okay, in his defense, he didn't want to beat her up and he didn't want to hurt her. But when he had to use force, he could have just used his hands. He didn't have to use the force on her.
Yeah. Yeah, he really overpowered her. There was no chance in hell. Even not knowledge of the rules, he had an advantage. There was nothing Fern could have done. You can write a song about that. I'm gonna give both.
She could have kicked him in the nards. That's what I shouted at my TV.
Yeah, maybe. Probably wore jock straps or something. Anyway, I'm going to give both episodes an 8 out of 10. Perfectly serviceable show, for nice episodes. I enjoy myself. I agree with the panel about the betrayal and everything, and the Neil-centric episode. Everything is, just great. Just fun, and more of this, please. More of this. Then we will be very happy. That will conclude this week's review of Champions for episode 4 and 5 of Skeleton Crew. We hope you have enjoyed our discussion today. If you did, you can help us out, like and share this review, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you really want more of us, join our forum at sakar.freeforums.net. Just click on the link in the description, people. Do it. Click. Next week, we will discuss episode 6 of Skeleton Crew, and we will also have our next episode of the Star Trek Project about Star Trek The Next Generation Season 3, I believe. And we will have a review for What If Season 3. So there's a lot to look forward to. For now, I want to thank you all, also on behalf of our champions, and wish the Force to be with you. Bye.